Okay, first up, I think we all need to give a round of applause to the studio that does Izetta, because god damn, those fighting scenes were incredible. I mean, the battlefield in general, and that's what this episode was all about. It was just one big battle where we had Austria just getting destroyed. I should call it Elistrat. Elistrat getting destroyed, but then having it turned around because of our White Witch. Zeta going in. It was incredible. So yeah, the first part was already great. When we had like the planes flying around, the tanks going in, all the explosions. A couple of times we got shot into a first person view, especially when they were like throwing the hand grenades. God, that was intense to watch. You just see it from first person view of an Elistrat soldier like shooting at people, seeing a hand grenade get lobbed into your trench and then blowing up. Oh man, that was sick. But then when Izetta did go in, when she showed up, it was just incredible. The use of CG was amazing. Seeing her fly around the battlefield, seeing her appear with like the lances at first zooming around. Oh my god, we even got like a first person shot of one of the lances shooting through one of the planes, which just looked insane. And the fact that she was able to take out planes like that, I mean, it makes sense. They were built of very lightweight metal, so it's totally possible. And I like how they didn't take it out of the realms of possibility, where we had, like, the swords just slamming into the sides of tanks, which are much heavier, beefier creatures. Like, there was no way swords would be able to smash through that kind of metal. But, man, it was just animated so well. The colours were so good. There were so many great shots of Izetta, like, starting off from far away, getting close, zooming forward with, like, the lances shooting out of her, the swords flying around her, when she would like impale the swords into the ground before she did something else with her magic so she wasn't distracted by everything that was going on. And I mean, the way she took out the tanks was so amazing as well. I mean, one of her most basic spells that she seems to use so much is making something able to fly, making her able to control it by will. And that's all she did to destroy most of the tanks. She just dropped her spell on her. At first it was a lance, then it was a giant fucking rifle again, which was amazing. So yeah, she just dropped a spell on that, cast it on the tank and just flipped them upside down, then let them fall. It was so damn cool, man. I am so in love with this idea of a witch during World War II, and they're animating it so well. That's what really surprised me. I mean, I had to look up the studio who's doing this, and it's Izetta, who have done like nothing in the past on this kind of level. The most recent thing they did before this was the Hokuto no Ken chibi thing. And like before that, the only series that I know that I've actually seen that they've done was Sensitive Pornograph, which I was forced to watch by someone. I don't recommend. Do not look it up. It's hardcore yaoi. But yeah, the fact that they've come from that kind of situation to doing an anime that looks this incredible, I really hope this pays out for them, because it was so good. The music was incredible. Just every time we have a scene with Izetta going in, the music always turns to this lovely lyrical voice doing the soundtrack. It's gorgeous. So yeah, amazing episode. And it got across everything that it was supposed to. I mean, we had Fine trying desperately to lead her people, trying to find some way to change the situation, realizing there was nothing she could do. The people at the battleground at Kennenberg, I think they said. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce the actual town, if there is an actual town named that. I'm sticking with the Japanese pronunciation because obviously I know very little about Austria. I don't know if that is a real town, a real place, or if it's just a completely made up one like Elistrat for Austria. So yeah, Kennenberg was going to be destroyed. The soldiers were laying down their lives, all fully aware that all they were doing was buying time. Was making sure that more people could evacuate, that they could lay down more mines and set up more traps for the Germanian soldiers with their lifespan. That is so amazing. I mean, it's something that a lot of the soldiers around Fine weren't able to do as well. They were told to retreat. Hans got them out of there, and at this point they were saying to Fine they wanted to go across the river, even though they'd have to leave all of their weapons behind, essentially, and they'd just be throwing their lives away. They'd just be buying more time. They just didn't want to be on that side of the river watching all of their allies be wiped out, because that's a horrible experience in and of itself. And it took us through so many different levels of this as well. So we had Fine, who was in command, realizing she could do nothing for them. Nothing was normally possible for her to do. We had Izetta, who was watching all this happen, watching her best friend in the world so destroyed by this decision to the point where she was crying her eyes out, but trying to be strong in front of her people, telling them, no, we have to stay here. We can't throw our lives away. I'm sorry, but we need you to look forwards towards the future. Apologizing because she's the one who has to give that command and she has to think logically about everything, and that was destroying her. Obviously, she preferred to just be able to charge in and be the conquering hero, but she knew even if there was any way to get them across, they wouldn't be able to help. So that was fucked up. Izetta watching all of this, knowing she could do something, trying to support, but being told essentially not to, and that it wasn't a good idea, so she backed down from the whole thing. And then we had the other perspective, which was the guy who was actually in the trenches, who was clearly new to war. This was probably forced into war because of his age and being a man in the right circumstances. He had a picture of his family with him, and in the picture he was just a very young boy. So the fact that he was on this battlefield, he was probably only about 16 as it was. He was scared to do anything. You had one person save his life because he was too shit scared to reload his weapon and actually get down when the bombs were dropping. We had a major sergeant jump on top of him to keep him down, who actually died protecting him. And then as he moved on, he became more serious. He started helping some other guy to reload a machine gun, and then when that guy even got killed, he was alone by himself with the machine gun, and he actually took command. He had the confidence then to actually be shooting at the soldiers and really got hardened by this war. And then we had Izetta show up and everybody get happy, and he was the one who started singing what I'm assuming was their national anthem at the end, or maybe it was a song devoted to the witch. I don't know. They didn't translate it, so I don't know what the lyrics were saying. Either way, it was a really good moment of seeing a boy put on a battlefield, forced to grow and develop to the situation he was in. And similarly, when we had Izetta going in, she was destroying everything. She was being a beast compared to the last two times she had battles where she was just kind of doing her best to survive. This time she went in and collected weapons and knew what she was doing. And then at the end, at the same time, we had that silly moment where, for one, it was deep when she was looking around at all the destruction she'd caused, seeing all the dead, seeing all the fires burning, she was clearly hurt by that. And she casually accidentally rides straight into a tree, falls off, crashes down to the ground. That was hilarious. Seeing someone who was so powerful, so ultimate, as a conquering witch, then getting knocked out of a tree and falling to the ground, looking so silly in such a silly position. And they really used that idea well. I mean, there were so many scenes where you had what could be considered fan service, but I just thought it was the hilarity of the situation, what other people were seeing. This young teenage girl riding around on a giant lance. We saw from one of the Germanian soldiers' perspectives at one point inside one of the tanks she was flipping, where all that he could see outside of his viewing window was Izetta's butt sticking through the window as she flipped the tank upside down. And you just heard him go, "Ugh," as it started to flip, and then she got the hell out of there and they were upside down. They couldn't do anything. It was exactly what Hans was saying, that because there was this witch dashing around the battlefield, everybody was just like, what the hell? And Fine used that to her advantage. She sent a Morse code signal to everyone saying, "This is Izetta, she's my close friend, and the reincarnation of the White Witch fight alongside her." And suddenly you didn't have the Elistrach soldiers confused and backing down. You had them going, "Yes, that's our witch, we're going to do this." And so their morale was boosted. They were fighting alongside her. They were trying to avoid hitting her, but taking out all the Germanian soldiers who were still freaked out by the entire situation. So this was incredible. And then we had that amazing moment at the end, which was so powerful as well, with the Elistrach HQ, the king passing away, but having that little happy smile, knowing that his daughter was with the White Witch and that she's going to be fine, and that Elistrach may actually return to power. The guy who was beside him, who looks a little bit shady with the long purple hair. I'm not sure what his plan is, but he suddenly wanted all the info on the White Witch. And since the next episode is called The Secret of the White Witch, and they're talking about, White Witch who will save us, they're probably going to put her as a figurehead and start using her power in every battle. She's probably not going to be able to back down from this war anymore. And that's fine, because, I mean, that's what Izetta wanted, but at the same time, it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. Man, this was just an incredible episode. I loved it. The moment when Fine and Izetta were standing above all the soldiers, they were singing to them. Just in love with their princess and their white witch coming together to save the day. Yes, this was a great episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Let me know what you thought about every part of this episode. For me, again, straight 10 out of 10. I loved it. But let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this review, wreck that like button like you mean it. Subscribe if you haven't already to see more. And I will see you guys next time.